We all silly like the mayor.
Let's try this again. Do you hear me, chat? Do you hear me?
What's up, chat?
Give me a thumbs up if you hear me in the chat. The answer is yes. Topper's lineup is set. Oh, that's not the question we're asking. Damn! Can you hear us? Come on, chat. Talk to me, people. I need to know if we're back.
Oh, man.
And I'm anxiously awaiting the next chat. Yes, Dave P says yes. We're in business.
Let's rock and roll.
Boom. All right. I think we're good. Dave P says we're good. Dave P. Provolone John. Chris Slimer, we're back, baby.
Just pretend like you do the intro all over again.
Welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast. Jamie Lynch, Tyler Zulli, and my man Devon Givens in the house today. You can catch Devon late night today doing a full slate. Sixers post game tonight.
Yep.
Phillies in the afternoon. Welcome in, man.
Good to be back, man. It's been a while since we talked a little baseball. And, of course, with some meaningful baseball getting ready to happen, this is cool. So always checking you guys out. Good to sit in here for Renee as you guys get ready to hit the trail for spring training.
It's been a long offseason, Devon. We saw Zach and Bo outside,
Yeah,
and I
it
was
has
like,
been.
man, the NFL offseason is fun. The MLB offseason sucks.
Well, the thing for you guys was
Saquon Barkley signed before Blake Snell.
Yeah,
and Jordan
how about
Montgomery.
That? How about
like,
that?
What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it for you guys is you jump right on it into it with the postseason run, getting ready for the postseason. Then the postseason happened, and things were rolling. And of course, the offseason in baseball is the offseason in baseball.
The longest.
We already know that. Yeah. So for baseball to be back for you and Renee and Tyler to have spring training and John being down there, this is great, man. And to know that this team is going to be good again.
Yeah.
And coming off of another ending where it stung the way that it did, this time a little bit, you lose the World Series, that stings. But when you feel like you're getting back to the World Series and back-to-back year, that one stung the way the Diamondbacks took down the Phillies. So this is, it's good to be back, man.
Yeah, it's a fun time in Phillies land right now.
And they didn't do a lot in the offseason.
But they improved.
But they did enough, and they did enough, but they're also good already. Like really good. Where the little bit that they did, where you can wait for Montgomery and Snell to see if they're going to be the last piece of the puzzle for the start of the season, but knowing that this baseball team is still going to be good, man, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a really good time in Phillies land right now because, like 3 years ago, I don't think anybody really saw that run coming where you get to the World Series. Last year, of course, ends in heartbreak, but it did have the preseason expectations. But you kind of forget, like Rhys Hoskins going down in spring training last year was a pretty big blow. You weren't going to have Bryce Harper.
Yep.
Trey Turner, excitement, sure, but then he kind of starts the season slow.
Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, Ranger was hurt in the World Baseball Classic. So this year is the most exciting Phillies, spring training, preseason, whatever you want to call it, since probably, 2008, before they won it. Like, the expectations of this team are great. I mean, when you look at this roster, Devon, and we'll talk about yesterday's lineup because I'm pretty sure we more or less got a preview of what the opening day lineup is going to be, and I want to get your thoughts on it. I mean, there's really not many holes. The only holes that potentially are going to arise are center field, and Cristian Pache and Johan Rojas are really kind of battling it out and having a good camp.
Good
here.
competition.
It is,
man.
and
good. You need
steel
that.
sharpens steel, as they say.
Exactly.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
Hashtag RG3. I know you tried to patent that one.
Yeah.
Then the expectations. Yeah,
I'm out.
Captain Cheese.
Yeah, I'm out.
The expectations for Orion are lofty and mighty. So, like, I think the only two possible holes, and I'll do air quotes on those, are if the young kids don't meet expectations. But if you look at the rest of the lineup, you look at the rotation, you look at the bullpen, they're elite in terms of baseball. So, like, it's a really damn fun time to be a Phillies fan.
It is, and we'll get to the lineup a little bit later, as you said. But seeing how they come in right now, they're going to be hungry based on how things happened last season. You get another year of Rob Thomson knowing this baseball team. You know what your pitching staff, your rotation is going to look like. You have some guys in the bullpen outside of Orion that made their name last year, here. And yes, Orion has to do so, and you have to figure out what else is going to happen there in the bullpen.
I mean, Jeff Hoffman was talk about garbage in the gold.
And that's where I was going.
Yeah.
Jeff Hoffman coming out of nowhere was one of those guys that I, in fact, did not trust for a long time. But when you got to the postseason and you look at some of the other options, it's like, oh, okay, I trust this guy a little bit.
Yeah.
And now, but you have that piece now going into the start of the season and everybody else that's there. So they have a great baseball team once again. And to know that that's where they are, knowing that that's where you're going to start at the end of March or where they're going to be. And there is no World Baseball Classic. You don't have a string of injuries that people are going to have to miss some time once the season gets underway. You can just hit the ground running, and then we can really start to figure out who they are from the very start as we look at them and the Braves and everybody else, the Dodgers, and see where they stack up. And when they go on that losing streak of losing 5 in a row and you're pissed off, or losing 5 of the 6 in the series and you're ticked off, especially in a big series like the Braves or someone else.
Opening day series.
Exactly. You lose the opening day game.
Oh,
you're
my
like,
God.
Oh, here are all the problems that – no. But
give us a call and react, 610.
But no, it's going to be fun, man. It really is going to be fun to see this team. And it was funny because we're talking to our guy Vince, and he's like, you guys getting, tickets and all that stuff. And like, yo, man, it's going to be fun to be back in the ballpark once again.
I mean, you
and
remember
to end it late the way that they have been doing it the past 2 seasons is perfect.
I mean, 2007 to 2011, the sundresses were out at Citizens Bank Park. It was the place to be, Devon. Like it was happening, and that's the vibe you're going to have all year long here.
Yep.
And Bryce Harper, look, I'm kind of excited to see him more involved in the game. Like moving to first base, he's going to be involved on, the majority of defensive plays. Whereas in right field, you're involved in minimal amounts. So, like, you're going to get a more involved Bryce Harper.
Yep.
He's going to have a full season of health.
At first base.
At first base. And he already looks like he's excellent at it. Like, potentially only Cristian Walker is maybe better defensively already. And that's a crazy thing to say.
That is something.
It's crazy.
That is something. I don't. That is something to say.
His average outs above replacement last year, he was neck and neck with Paul Goldschmidt in a lot less games. And Cristian Walker's like leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
But like to automatically step into a new position and be one of the best in your league, that's a wild thing to do. And then if Trey Turner builds on what he was doing in August and September, like shit, nobody's going to want to see the Phillies in a playoff series. Of course, the Dodgers and Braves still exist, but that's why you compete for titles. It's never easy. It's going to be a lot of damn fun. So yesterday they kind of trotted out what I think, Devon, is going to be the opening day lineup. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yes, love to get
now, obviously, quick Brandon Marsh update. He played in an intra-squad scrimmage yesterday, and the word is he could be in Grapefruit League action as early as tomorrow. So we'll see if we see Brandon Marsh tomorrow. Regardless, he's close. So Whit Merrifield took the left field spot.
Like that pickup, by the way.
Which is great pickup. Super utility man. Doesn't cost you a lot of money. Gives you insurance policies in a couple spots. But the lineup is Kyle Schwarber in the 1, Trey Turner in the 2, Bryce Harper in the 3.
Can we stop there and go by the thirds of it here? So the Kyle Schwarber leadoff conversation for years now that he has been here has always been an interesting one. But for me, at first I was against it. When it happened, though, and they made the change and it started to work, and it continued to work, and it continued to work, and then you get to the World Series, and the same thing for last season. Yes, he will struggle, and he may bat 170, but he's also going to give you that pop right out of the gate. If they do what they do because the lineup is so stacked, when we always speak about getting that leadoff man or even getting that third or fourth hitter there, that extra at bat, so you can make sure that in the guts of the game that he is available and he is there. The lineup is the lineup. The way the lineup is stacked, he's going to get that extra at bat. So to have him leading things off and setting that tone and deflating the opponent immediately when he does get a leadoff home run, you can't ignore that. So as we talk about the first 3 and Turner and Harper in the 3-hole, I'm still okay with it. Still okay with it. And Rob Thomson has been here the entire time. Yeah. So if he keeps leaving him in there, he is leaving him in there for a reason, because he likes the way that he sets the tone at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, and look, Kyle Schwarber's going to start the season slow. That's just what he does.
Wait for June. It's okay.
If he's starting the season slow in the 3 or 4 hole, it's still going to piss you off as much as it's starting.
Yeah.
And I think it's Randy in the chat. And, Rob Thomson said it last week. He only leads off once a game. And then the hope is, with Marsh and Rojas in the 8 and 9 hole, you can kind of flip the lineup, reset
the lineup is good, so you get that extra at bat.
And if those two are on base a decent amount with that speed, Kyle Schwarber is going to be turning singles, not that he really hits those, into a lot of RBIs.
He hits home runs and doubles. That's what he does.
He doesn't hit many
so if you
singles.
do that and you have the speed of Marsh and Rojas and Pache there on the back end, good chance they might score.
Yeah. So the top 3 is nasty.
All right. Yeah. So let's do 4, 5, 6 because I'm curious.
Yeah. 4 to me is just fine. Real Muto as a 4-hole hitter. It's fine. It's not sexy.
But I do appreciate the way he went to the offseason and they were saying
the biomechanics lab.
Exactly. Going into the biomechanics lab, attacking whatever little hole he had in his swing he wanted to correct.
Yeah. He's a you want a JT on your team.
He's a pro.
Yeah, he's a pro's pro.
Yes. To the Harper point, real fast before you get to 5 and 6. So when you talk about the dedication of what he's doing and where he is now ranking in first base as far as a fielder,
it's wild.
Right. He's a pro's pro. He's a Hall of Famer. So these great players are going to attack whatever's thrown in front of them as a challenge. For whatever reason, Real Muto knew what the problems were, could not fix them in season. He had a great series at the end of the year to help him correct some things there. It did not work out against the Arizona Diamondbacks, but for him to go into the offseason, recognize it, try to fix it, and now we're going to see it, but have him in that 4-hole, I'm going to believe that he is going to be fine because,
if he can give you
he's a guy who's going to attack it.
25 home runs,
that's it.
That's
his
fine.
normal. His norm.
That's fine.
Yeah.
He said what he noticed last year, and he said, look, I'm getting older, and if you're not like evolving your own game, then what are you doing? He said I think it was something with his front step was a little off where he was dropping his back shoulder, and he discovered this with the biomechanics team and the research and development, and he got in the Phillies quote-unquote biomechanics lab in Florida, and I believe the first time November, did like 5 or 6 weeks of work with them and the research development team, took some time off, did like a pro-am, took the holidays off, and was back in the Florida lab, now that they call it, in I think the second week of January. So like, that's a grind. He took a couple weeks for, family and relaxation, but like was working his ass off this offseason
dedication
to fix one little thing that the Phillies found a hole in his swing.
Exactly.
So really cool. He's in the 4-hole. Bryson Stott is in the 5. I guess they're really concerned about breaking up lefty-righty here. And then Bohm in the 6. Your thoughts on 5-6?
So 5, wherever they put Bryson Stott, I'm cool.
He's the man.
I'm just cool.
Yeah.
Because in the initial thing of it was his rookie season. You were just concerned of, was he going to be able to really, really do what he does against major league pitching and be consistent and all of that. But then once you got a good glimpse of it and you saw how he battled, and he was arguably the best at, even if he didn't get a hit out of it, but he worked the pitcher.
Works great at bats.
And the pitch count against a starter, or even pissing off a relief pitcher once they were in there to kind of set up whoever was behind him to get something done. I'm perfectly fine with him being in the 5-hole. So as you talk about breaking up the lefty, so you figure a lefty at 3 and 5 right there, because you're so heavy, you're top heavy with the righty.
Yeah, you go
Harper,
righty here 6-7. So I guess they're more concerned with the 4-5-6 split up than they are 6-7 split up.
And he has to be somewhere in that top 6. He can't be in the bottom 6 on.
He might be.
I say top 6, but you know what I mean. 6 on down, where it's more of this guy's too good to be.
Yeah.
On
so
that
I was
back end.
just gonna say he might lead the team in average this year.
He might.
Is
doubles.
he the team's best average hitter? He probably is, right? Tyler's hot take is that Bryson Stott is going to win a batting title one day.
I don't think that's too far-fetched to say something like that.
Yeah.
I mean the guy,
it's a big he's that good. He's shown you a
is.
lot of potential, but I guess he's probably their best overall hitter.
So if Rob Thomson is putting him in the 5-hole, I'm
totally
perfectly
cool with
fine with that. No problem. Because also, let's say it's a 1-2-3, or even you start the second inning and JT Realmuto is out. I feel good that guy's going to have a good chance of getting a hit there to kind of break up, snap that right there, and let's get things going. Now, the question is Bohm. I saw a few people here in the chat, like Coach Lowell and even Randy, saying that.
What's up, Coach Lowell?
They want Bohm in the cleanup spot.
Yeah, well, Coach Lowell's point is good. He hits well with runners in scoring position. Bohm led the team in average with runners in scoring position last year, but the one thing that Bohm does that Bryson doesn't is ground into a lot of double plays. So, Tyler, your thoughts? I saw you perk up there at the Bryson conversation.
Yeah,
That's
so
your boy.
It is, and I think the one thing that I would take a different approach than you guys is when you're saying next season specifically, who is the best? I don't know if you want to say average hitter.
I'm just going to say average hitter.
So to me, it's I think even though for a bulk of last year the numbers were down, to me it's still Trey Turner.
Okay.
I think that
if I asked you to bet right now, Trey Turner or Bryson Stott leads the team in average this year, who would you bet?
I would probably take. I think that I would take Trey Turner, but I would not be stunned if it's Bryson Stott.
Okay, that's fair. Devon, who would you take in a bet? If I give you some odds right now, Bryson Stott's, let's say, plus 135.
Average?
Yeah, just for average, and Trey Turner's a minus 110. Who are you taking?
I would be wrong not to take Trey Turner, but I'm looking at year 3 of Bryson Stott and saying that guy can do that.
So last year, Bryson Stott in 150 games hit 280. And I think that
150?
I think at this point, 280 is a baseline for him.
Yeah,
like I think
that's fair.
If he's below 270, I'd be stunned. But I would be I don't think he's ready to hit the 300 threshold just yet.
Not even in year 3? You don't think so? With all the at-bats he's had with regular season, postseason, big spots like that, where he has seen everything at this point, where he's just going to continue to arrow point up. He's getting better. You don't think that 300 is, or I won't even say 300. Sure. Let's just say 290, but just right there at
296.
Just getting to 300, because he may not be right, as Tyler, you're saying that, but he's so good where the 280, as you said, is a baseline, but now this dude is 290, 295.
So are you asking achievable or will he do it? Because achievable, absolutely.
Will he do it? Because of 150 games played last year, all the games played rookie season, the postseason, big spots. There's nothing that he really hasn't seen at this point. And he is batted in the 2 spot. He is batted in the 5 hole. He's batted in the 7 hole. Yeah, he's done everything. So that's why I'm saying that I think it's certainly achievable, but I'm putting that on him, where if we're saying you guys are doing an episode of who do you expect to take that next step,
I expect more from Bryson Stott because he's shown you that much.
Over Alec Boehm, who I like, but it's just more of over Alec Boehm. I'm expecting him to take that jump.
Well, so for me, the reason I say Trey Turner is I refuse to believe a guy that over the course of a 7-8 year career, who's a 296 career hitter, is going to hit 266 again.
Right.
No,
like it just doesn't make any sense to me. So like, even if maybe he doesn't hit 296,
100%.
but there's the likelihood of, even if he splits the difference and he's 285, I think that's probably enough for me to say I could see him jumping from 285 to 290, 290 to 295, as opposed to going to Stott right now, who you guys know that I absolutely adore.
Yeah.
But I think that if you're saying put betting money on who leads the team in average this year, I would bet a Trey Turner bounce back as opposed to another Bryson Stott ascension to take him over that.
Do you have
threshold.
baseball Pornhub reference open in front of you for Bryson Stott?
Yeah.
The reason I think it's very attainable, like you said, Tyler, can you look up what his average was with 2 strikes? Because to me, that's the most impressive thing with Bryson Stott is his ability to not get razzled.
After he has a 15 at-bat plate appearance.
He just kind of grinds pitchers down into a dust. Like when you're
then he doesn't move off his spot. He just takes the 1 foot step back, the lead foot, take the step back, just kind of swing the bat a little bit.
I'll give you 0-2 and 1-2 because I think 2-2 and 3-2 are even counts. And honestly, if I'm a hitter at 2-2, I feel really good about what I might see. So I'll give you 0-2 and 1-2. Against 0-2 counts, he saw 78 at-bats. He had 18 hits. He hit 243. In 1-2 counts, he's had 104 at-bats. He had 25 hits. He hit 240.
Okay, pretty consistent there.
Okay.
With 2 strikes in pitchers counts. So, that's a good stat.
So with that, if Ty, you say, and Jay, we all agree that there's a very good chance, of course, Trey Turner leads them in average. What is that average? What is it over 300?
Do the Phillies have a 300 hitter
exactly.
this year?
That's my question. Is it over 300?
Does Whit Merrifield qualify if he only plays 60 games? 55 games?
I don't know. Do you qualify if you go up there and hit one time and get a hit?
No, you don't. No, let's just say that.
But over 50 games is
the everyday guys. The everyday guys. The guys that we're talking about. Is it tied?
So I looked it up at the end of last year. I think there was 17 guys that hit over 300 last year, Tyler. Does that sound about right?
Look how baseball has changed.
I know.
Man.
Isn't that wild?
Goodness gracious.
It's less than 20 that hit over 300 last year.
We're trying to figure out, Tyler, we were all, and Zach, we were all talking about real true number one wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
Real 300 hitters in Major League Baseball.
It's not many.
That's
so
crazy.
It is a hard thing to do.
And we know things advance and change and all, but that is nuts.
It is nuts. I'm going to say no. The Phillies don't have a 300 hitter.
Okay.
I think Bryson Stott and Trey Turner are going to be in the 290s.
290s. Okay.
And it'll feel like 320.
But Trey Turner will have 30-plus home runs and, all that. But and also, just to add to the bone point so we're not ignoring him, we see a lot of people in the chat, Coach Lowe and everybody, 20, 25 home runs, expecting that from him. I do expect him to also improve off of last season.
He's improved every year, right?
Every year. And he had a terrible postseason. He knows it. So I expect him to attack. He attacked the offseason to come back and
I think this is his last chance at power. If he doesn't give you 25-plus this year, I think he is what he is, which is fine. But then that's why he's in those conversations when certain names come up as third basemen, looking at you, St. Louis, and we're like,
Yeah, I would trade him for it. I would trade him.
Yeah. I mean, there's a chance Aiden Miller, if he's real deal, the prospect, could be the third baseman in 3 years from now if Bohm doesn't develop a little bit more power. But Bohm has gotten better every year, especially defensively. He's kind of blown my mind. And you know what else blows my mind?
What's that?
Mortgage CS. Because you know what, Devon? They want to educate and empower you. I've been through the mortgage process a couple times. Devon has too. And let me just tell you this. It sucks. Thank God I had a wife that held my hand and helped me talk to these lenders and all this. And I just wish I had Alec and Ben on my side when I went through it previously. I'm locked in at a great rate, so you're going to have to take me out of my house feet first. I ain't going anywhere. But I recommended to my sister that she reach out to Mortgage CS and talk to them because the mortgage process is a lot. You want to get your ducks in a row ahead of time so you can shop around with Mortgage CS and get the best rate. They're a local lender, so they have complete control over who they work with, and they have great relationships, not only in Pennsylvania, but all over California, Colorado, Florida, Maine, Maryland, New Jersey. So no matter where you are, Mortgage CS is an ally you want on your side because they want to educate and empower you so you don't feel like you're drowning in the process because it sucks. You got to pull bank statements and explain this and that, credit checks. They want to help you get the best rate. So what they'll do is help you, even if it's a year from now. Talk to Ben. His number's on the phone on the screen right now for our podcast listeners. His cell phone number is 267-391-7425. And this dude is the definition of a workaholic in the best possible way. And when you're getting to, bidding time and you're putting in a house and maybe you want to up your offer, you want somebody that's there for you 24 hours a day. And I guarantee you Ben is going to be that. Even if you just want a friend to talk about how excited you are for Phillies opening day, text Ben 267-391-7425. It stands for Mortgage Concierge Service because they're going to give you white glove service. And they're there 24/7 from Alec and Ben, the two owners. These guys you want on your side. And when you hear the word mortgage, think of Mortgage CS. Think of Alec and Ben. Save Ben's phone number, 267-391-7425. You can email Ben at ben@mortgagecs.com. Call, text anytime, day or night. Just talk sports. Maybe you need a new friend. Ben is the man, and he's going to help you out. You can go to mortgagecs.com/PHLY to get started. This advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Mortgage CS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLSID 1464766. Visit mortgagecs.com for more information.
And whenever I've mentioned real fast, whenever we've talked about that during the Sixers show, I've mentioned how I've talked to you about the mortgage process people.
Sucks.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know what? I think I might want something by the end of the year. Maybe I get something by the end of the year. Let me talk to Jay about these people. And yes, so we'll see.
You want somebody available 24 hours a day when you're going through this process because you never know how it goes. And Alec and Ben will be there for you.
You guys want to see something crazy?
I do.
Let me take you behind the scenes. That's
Whoa,
me.
Hey,
how about that?
Zulli.
This is insane, right? The faceless voice is no more because I got to tell you about our friends at Miller Lite. And a lot has changed over the last couple of years. In fact, a lot has changed just for the three of us. Just a year ago, we were all in different places, but now we're back together like the three best friends that anyone could have. But the one thing that doesn't change are our friends at Miller Lite. It is a great taste, clean finish, easy to drink, 96-calorie beer that you can get just about anywhere. Jamie's already said to us that first Miller Lite at the airport tomorrow is on him. So we're super excited about the I'm super excited about the free beer that I'm going to get. But the good thing about Miller Lite is you can get Miller Lite just about anywhere that you get your beer. You can get it at the beer distributor, your local bar down in Clearwater, at the ballpark. You can get Miller Lite anywhere you want to get a really clean, easy to drink, smooth finish, and a beer that is not going to make you feel all bloated and full because it is only 96 calories. And as I said, times do change, but the one thing that doesn't change is that you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. It tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered to your door, that's right, you can get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. You don't even have to go to the beer distributor anymore. Visit MillerLite.com/PHLY Phils, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells you beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories, per 12 ounces.
Look at that. Some Tyler Zulli love in the chat. We'd love to see
Look
it.
at that.
Let's get a little thumbs up for Tyler Zulli getting some FaceTime in there
he is.
today.
Look at
Although I
that.
will tell you that FaceTime camera is so close to my head that I had to like tilt the entire screen up just to make it work.
Oh, my buddy Dan Duffy in the chat from Art of Words.
What up, Dan?
Yeah, one of my golfing partners, giving Tyler Zulli some love, as well as Chris Red. So let's give a little thumbs up for Tyler there. And then just to finish out the lineup here, Devon, you got Bohm in the 6th, Castellanos in the 7th, which is a pretty nice luxury. Like, it's kind of become
a
chic
luxury
to shit on Nick Castellanos.
but he's the one that's supposed to be in that 4 hole.
4 or 5. I think ideally they wanted him in the 5
Yep,
hole. But
yep.
if you bump him down to the 7 and he can give you anywhere near what he did last year, like last year was
He was better than
kind
his
of
first
a
year.
career-tying year for him. 100-plus RBIs, 20-plus home runs, good amount of doubles, which is what you brought him here for. If you have that guy hitting in the 7th hole to kind of start off that bottom third of the lineup, it's kind of a nice luxury to have.
It's a nice luxury to have.
Yeah, I mean, they
Yeah.
paid a lot of money to get that luxury.
Yeah, and it's and at this point, it's fine because even when the trade talks were really brought up in the offseason about, hey, they might trade Nick Castellanos, he's still a really good player, and to have him in the 7 hole, I think that again, it's not something that they had planned for. They wanted him in that higher spot,
Sure.
4 or 5. But based on how things have gone and the improvement also of some of the younger guys, that's where the luxury piece comes in because you are able to have Stott and Bohm up there in that 5, 6 spot. So if he's in the 7 and can continue to hit close to 300,
If
maybe
he can be a
and
doubles
get
guy,
those doubles guys and hit
yeah.
those home runs, then it's fine. Then it's
Yeah.
fine. But that's where we also talk about this lineup is loaded.
It is. And then 8, 9 is going to be Brandon Marsh in the 8, Johan Rojas / Cristian Pache. Everybody's assumed, and Dave Dombrowski has said, like, we want Rojas to win it. But Cristian Pache's given him some run this spring training. So it is going to be interesting to see what that workload balance is for the both of them.
Man.
It's good to have competition there with 2 young guys. I pray Cristian Pache makes the opening day roster. Like, he's out of minor league options. Him and Cave are kind of fighting for that battle, that final spot. Cave has the luxury of being the left-handed hitter on the bench.
I like Jay Cave more than most people.
Yeah,
Just a nice left-handed bat. That's all.
He's fine. He's
Yeah, he's
versatile. But I really hope Cristian Pache makes the team because he's shown me enough in this year that I think he's worth keeping at age 25.
Yeah, you don't want to have him back out there and he winds up in San Diego. And,
No, he'll
and
get
he can
claimed.
play.
He'll get claimed in 2 hours.
And he
on
can
waivers.
play, right? Yeah, exactly.
So yesterday's lineup was probably a glimpse at the opening day lineup. Now, Devon, today is a big anniversary day. Tyler, did you know this? Big anniversary.
What's that?
Where
Is
were
it
you?
Is it your anniversary?
No.
Should we be concerned?
No. 6 years ago today, Tyler, Devon, where were you?
6
Did you
years
have your
ago, so-
notification set to Jeff Passan and Buster Olney in the baseball world?
Wasn't.
I don't know.
Was it?
I don't know what I did yesterday.
Was it Zach Wheeler?
Not Zach Wheeler. Who could forget the day we signed Jake Arrieta?
Oh man.
6 years ago today, Devon.
Well, see, I knew it wasn't Bryce Harper, so I'm like, all right, was it Zach Wheeler?
But think about how far we've come. That you 6 years ago today, on the 12th of March, signed Jake Arrieta out of absolute need. You paid him way too much, and it was a disaster. But like, you were kind of getting to that point where you were competitive enough to compete for the playoffs, but not competitive enough to win anything. And they needed an arm, and they were so desperate that they went out and signed Captain Tight Pants, and he did the weird ass video in the banana hammock in his kitchen. Remember that?
That was really weird.
He was sweeping, and he was listening to some song, and he basically announced he was coming to the Phillies.
Yeah.
Jake Arrieta. What a time.
That was the time that you talked about after the 7 through 11 where the sundresses were out. Sundresses were not out during that period of time.
It was full on Amish garb from the ladies when doing the Jake Arrieta.
When Jake Arrieta
No
was
kneecaps
here,
showing.
it wasn't good.
No
man.
shoulder blades.
Because look, when you get a name like that, right? You get a name and you're like, all right, Jake Arrieta, you think about his time and what he did, Cubs, all that stuff. And like, all right, he's going to come in here. We know he's not the same, but he's going to be all right. And it wasn't all right. It was not all right. It was all bad.
Tyler, can you pull up his numbers during the 3 years here? Can you circle that for me so we can laugh?
3 years in Philly.
3 plus
22 and 23
ERA
with a 4.36 ERA and 64 starts. Struck out 280 over 352.
All right.
A 1.38 WHIP.
Oof.
And because the issue was, I'm
trying to find a positive after we just killed him. But go ahead.
The walks
Jake Arrieta's grandchildren got taken care of with that.
The walks weren't terrible, but I think he gave up a lot of hits. Yeah, like 165 hits and
138 ERA.
165 hits in 172 innings, and then 145 and 135. I will say this though, guys. Like I will always defend the Phillies for going out and signing Jake Arrieta because they were
I thought it was necessary.
Desperate need of pitching.
It stunk, but it was necessary.
And they overpaid him because they had to.
Yes.
There was an absolute need towards the top of your rotation. And even we all knew that they weren't getting 2015 Cy Young Award winner Jake Arrieta, who was 22 and 6 with a 1.7.
Yes.
But if you got 14 and 10, 3.5 Arrieta, you were fine with it because your team was so bad.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that you got 3.9, 4.6, and 5.0 and in a small sample size, you didn't get the guy you were expecting but like you guys, you could see it. The velocity dipped. The two-seam was his best pitch. Mm-hmm. And that back run that he had on the two-seam in Chicago just started to disintegrate in Philly. And when you're leaving two-seamers over the heart of the plate without a lot of run in a hitter's ballpark, you're going to get get around.
Yeah, that was a dark time, hypothetical.
Dark time.
That was a real dark time.
Chris says, ooh.
It was dark time. Yeah. So I bring that up just to say, look how far we've come. We have one of the best pitchers in the game now. We have Aaron Nola locked up. You got Andrew Painter and Mick Abel in the system. And Mick Abel has been I'm pretty sure we're going to see him after the All-Star game. I think time of service, they're going to keep him down. But Mick Abel has looked tremendous so far in spring. He's been scoreless. He struck out Juan Soto on a nasty slider yesterday. This kid, it looks like he's rounding into form to be a big league contributor this year.
Does he get the ball when you guys are down there so you get to see him live?
I don't know. They've only used them sparingly.
Okay.
I think that yesterday, correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler, it was at least his second appearance. At most, his third appearance. I think it was only his second yesterday.
So you might get one more.
Maybe if we get lucky.
Or at least one while you're there.
Well, Tyler, Renee, and I are hoping to go to the spring breakout game on Saturday, which is over at the Tigers facility.
I'll be there.
There's a live stream of it. You can check that out. But that's going to be a really cool thing. He'll probably pitch, I would imagine, an inning in that. So they might be saving him for Saturday because he is on that roster. But Mick Abel, the Phillies rotation, and then Christopher Sanchez is a guy with a ton of upside. Taijuan Walker, say what you want about him, but if you have him as a 4-5, you're in a really good spot. And now you got a little bit of youth coming up with promise. One of the guys that's not going to give you promise in the starting rotation, Devon, is Griff McGarry. And Rob Thomson yesterday came out, and with minor league camp underway, Griff McGarry wasn't going to crack the 40-man. He was sent over to the minor league camp to get into that program. And Rob Thomson said the focus on him now is going to be getting ready for bullpen work. And in today's, Major League Baseball, that bullpen / sixth starter / guy that can go 4+ innings.
Chris Sanchez.
Yeah, that's a major role for a club now. So Griff McGarry looks like he's more destined for that than ever cracking our starting rotation.
Well, you got Ranger here. So that's
Ranger's great. Sanchez is really exciting.
Sanchez is exciting. And as you said, Taijuan Walker's your 5. It's not a bad thing.
No, and if we all
got to 14 wins before anybody else last season?
He was the first 15? Major league pitcher to 15 wins.
Yeah, 15. So, yeah.
All right, let's take a bet right now. Who has a better ERA this year, Christopher Sanchez or Taijuan Walker?
Sanchez.
We're unanimous. So I think by the end of the year, Walker will be the true 5.
Yeah.
Which is an expensive 5. But again, not my money. I don't give a damn. Thank you, John Middleton. So that happened yesterday from Rob Thomson. All right. There's some big names out there in free agency land. Devon, I'm going to give you the genie lamp.
Let's do it.
So starting pitchers, here are the names remaining. Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Michael, I can't even say that one. Straight face. Michael Lorenzen, Mike Clevenger, Noah Syndergaard, Vince Velasquez, Matthew Boyd, Domingo Germain, Trevor Bauer, Johnny Cueto, Zach Greinke, and Jake Odorizzi. Do you have interest in any of them if you were granted one wish, or would you save it for a bullpen arm or a positional player? I can run through those names super fast.
Go for it, because I already know the starting pitcher who I would say.
All right. Relief pitchers, some of the big names available. Cody Heuer, Brad Boxberger, Brad Hand, and Aaron Loop. Aaron Loop.
No Brad Hand. Scratch him off.
Aaron Loop stinks.
So did Brad Hand.
Catcher, there's Manny Pena. You don't really have a need there.
No.
You got Brandon Belt, Donovan Solano, Yuli Gurriel, Gene Segura, Jonathan Scoop, Evan Longoria, J.D. Davis, Tommy Pham, Michael Taylor, Adam Duvall, Robbie Grossman, Austin Meadows, Cole Calhoun, Kyle Lewis, and J.D. Martinez. You get one move for an irrational spend by the Phillies. Who are you going in on?
I still go Montgomery.
Yeah?
Yeah, I stick with Montgomery. As
All
much
right.
as we talk about Sanchez and Taijuan Walker and how cool it is to have them, Montgomery knocks those guys down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that.
Yeah, you'd probably have to move Walker to make that happen. Attempt to get under that third threshold.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild that it's now March 12th, and at least 3 of those names are still not signed.
Yeah, Montgomery is my choice.
Yeah, to see the Eagles get Saquon Barkley before Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, or J.D. Martinez signed is absolutely wild.
Yeah. Do you like any of the bullpen arms, though?
Yeah.
That's so exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I like the story of Gene Segura, and it would be cool to have Gene Segura
He's
back
retired.
here. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's really, for me, it's the Montgomery piece.
Yeah. Another move yesterday from a roster construction standpoint. Michael Mercado, who we just talked about yesterday from the weekend Scott Lauber report, said he has an outside chance to make the 40-man. Well, that ended because he was sent over to minor league camp as well.
Mhm.
It looks like he will be the first call-up. It looks like he played himself into that position, which for, a nothing trade with the Rays in December, that's not bad at all. Now, Tyler, you're the MLB The Show man of the group. I never really got into MLB The Show. We have it out there.
I have it at home.
It's really hard.
You can catch these hands.
Yeah, no, you've already. I've played you. You've smoked me.
Well, it's not fair. Like I played consistently,
game,
and you
though.
played for the first time in like 10 years.
I was trying to do home run derby.
Yeah,
and failing.
it doesn't really matter. Like,
I can hit home runs. My
Can you?
problem is fielding.
Okay, it's a tough game.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Even though it's like you're supposed to press the button and angle the toggle stick to throw it to first base. It just,
It is hard.
I feel like I'm coordinated, and it ticks me off.
So
It's like
the,
golf.
the news yesterday, John Kruk is going to be included in the MLB The Show this year.
As a voice?
As a voice
Oh.
in MLB The Show, and I saw this courtesy of Phillies Nation. Kruk will be among over 190 new and return legends. Oh, I'm sorry, not as a
no,
voice.
he's a player.
As a
That
player.
players
He's a
can
player.
add to their lineup and use in certain
So why
game
wasn't
modes.
Tyler, why wasn't he on there before? Is this like a money thing? Like
No,
Charles
it's. I think they pick different guys to add.
It rotates.
Yeah, I mean, there's your. I don't even know about rotate because like here's the thing, I don't play a lot of like the big thing now is the Diamond Dynasty. It's like the ultimate team, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
cards and you play and you
Sure.
get the packs.
That's
and
big in FIFA.
I don't like that. I think
I don't like it either.
I
I
think
never
it's
got
too
it.
much microtransaction, and I think you can pay to play and it's not fun. Like just give me a team, give you a team, and let's play.
Yeah.
So to me, that portion of it, I don't care about.
Yeah,
So,
I never got. I was a big FIFA player. I never got it, but like I'm with you. Like the card and the.
let's
I was
just
like,
play
this
each
is too
other.
much.
Like
Just give me
let's
the
log
ball.
on.
It's way too
I'll give you my username and we'll play each
Yeah,
other. You beat me, I beat you. Like one of the two things are
Way
going to
too
happen.
much.
I think that's the old school in us.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing I hold on to from like PS2 days is like I'm just playing franchise mode on
Dude,
Madden.
me and my cousin used to get in fist fights over Jordan versus Bird on Nintendo in the basement. That's the old
That's
school.
why all this stuff is ridiculous to me. I understand why things change a little bit, but the fact that you got to do this sign in, you
know,
got to let
it's a
this
lot.
part download, and you got to do this
Who's
other
got time
thing.
for all that? Just give me
You
the ball.
don't.
Let's
Oh,
play.
Especially when the technology is better. It should be up faster.
I bought a game. I was telling Jamie, I bought a game the other day, and it was a digital copy, so I had to wait for it to download, and it took like an hour to download because my internet sucks. But like,
It's
it used to
insane.
just put the disc in, close the lid, and it would start.
and be done.
So
And
here
then they
is.
start messing up. You
Even though it explicitly says "do not blow on cartridge."
Yeah. Here are the 17 legends getting added this year. Tyler, Devon, tell me who you'd most want to play with. Some pretty cool names. This guy named Satchel Paige.
That's my answer.
That's your answer.
You don't need it. It's Satchel Paige.
Well, Josh Gibson,
Okay.
Tony Stone, this guy named Hank Aaron.
That would be interesting.
He's pretty good. I heard of him.
Yeah, he's good at hitting baseballs. Buck Leonard, Andrew Miller,
What up, Buck?
Yeah, Paul O'Neill, Richie Sexson makes the list.
Does he? Wow.
Underrated hitter, man.
He was pretty good, and he was a monster, wasn't he? Like 6'7"?
6'10", I think.
Was he 6'10"?
Huge.
I knew he was huge, but 6'10" is like, how do you hit a baseball at 6'10"? It's like playing on stilts. Rich Aurelia, Brian Dozier, Andy Pettit, who Ruben Amaro just recently told the story. It was almost a Philly right before the 07 run. He had a trade on the table that got nixed, but Steinbrenner was on board, but Brian Cashman nixed it at the last minute. And not to be dramatic, but that trade could have reshaped baseball history a little bit because of how big Andy Pettit was for those Yankees teams.
Right. Almost.
Yeah. Johan Santana, Tony Oliva, Bernie Williams, Rafael Palmeiro, and Adrian Beltre.
So they weren't. They're on there as legends.
They're on there as legends this year.
Okay, because
And Crucker makes the list.
Bernie Williams and Andy Pettit weren't on there already.
I guess not.
As any older teams, but Hank Aaron would be my choice.
Hank Aaron, I think, is mine too.
Yeah.
Satchel Paige.
First of all, it's Satchel Paige just because it would be really cool to play with Satchel Paige. But I think what would make it even better, and I don't know if they're doing this or not, is when you have your wheel of pitches, it's like fastball, slider.
Yeah.
Satchel Paige had names for all his pitches.
Individually.
So I wonder if they're like the.
Can you look that up?
Like Charlie.
Do you remember in Major League where he had like the Eliminator and the Terminator? It was similar to that. It wasn't those names, but like he had legit names for his pitches. I wonder if it comes up as like
That would be pretty cool.
like Charlie.
yeah, exactly.
Or
Okay,
building.
here's the quote. Satchel Paige was no ordinary pitcher, and his pitchers were no ordinary names. Long Tom was his fastball.
Long time.
Long Tom. I got bloopers, loopers, and droopers, he explained. I got a jump ball, a b-ball, a screwball, a wobbly ball, a whipsy-dipsy-do, a hurry-up ball, and a nothing ball, and a bat dodger.
That's like 15 pitches.
Who the hell was this guy?
That's like
Those are some
15
awesome
pitches.
names.
Wow.
We might have to bring that back.
Now, why does John Kruk make this legends? Is it because of his TV presence and his Twitter presence? Also, we already know he was,
And he did ESPN
he's a
National
long time,
Baseball.
right? Exactly.
So,
But why this year?
I'm imagining like your Schmitz and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Tyler, but I'm assuming some of like the Hall of Fame Phillies legends have already been done.
Yeah, I mean, I know Schmidt has for sure.
Carlton probably has.
Yeah, Carlton's been in the game.
Have Howard, Rollins, and Utley reached that?
No,
level
I don't
yet?
think they're. I mean, maybe because like
so they don't have the
again,
teams,
I don't play that mode all that often, so I can't tell you definitively.
But they do have legendary teams for each franchise. though?
You can like win these guys into your roster.
That's wild.
to be on today's roster.
No. You create your own team.
Okay.
So like you would be the Devons,
All
and you would like get your packs, and like you pick a player based on your pack, and then there's certain players within their packs have like regular Zach Wheeler, and then there's like gold tier Zach Wheeler
I got you.
who has elevated. It's a mess.
By the way, the Satchel Paige quote, courtesy of the Library of Congress. So that's where that quote came from.
That's why he's Satchel Paige.
If I could steal one, I would go with the Whipsy Dipsy Do. That sounds like a nasty pitch.
Sounds like a backyard baseball pitch.
The long Tom. Where does that come from?
That's funny. That sounds like a Looney Tunes pitch, though. The Whipsy
Yeah, it
Dipsy
does.
Because
I can see Bugs.
Bugs Bunny, strike one, strike two, strike
you're
three.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
120 revolutions later, it gets to the plate. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Maybe one day I will become efficient at MLB The Show. Today is not that day.
Mm-hmm.
One little good news about baseball before we get to our all-time second baseman,
All right.
which again, the third position was a much debated one between me, you, and Tyler over text last night. This is courtesy of John Morosi. We've talked about baseball and Major League Baseball, I think over the last 5 or 6 years, deserves some credit for finally kind of getting it and trying to make the game a little more popular. I think the rule changes are a step in the right direction.
Especially the base stealing for me.
Yeah.
That was big in my childhood.
The pitch clock to me, like as
like
a
that
washed
too.
old man with kids, I can't make it up to 10:30 every single night. So like speeding the game up selfishly for me was better.
Mm-hmm.
World Baseball Classic is really cool.
That's cool.
They're doing the spring breakout games, which is really cool. And they finally allowed social media to like use their footage and promote their own game.
Yeah.
For the longest time, they shut it down. And I was like, what are you doing? People want to see moonshots
because they were
on Twitter.
They were the high and mighty.
Yeah. They were smelling their own farts in a snifter glass.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's to your point of why you're saying what you're saying. That's why they got in their own way.
They did.
Changing rules finally allowed them to look at what everybody else was doing already and making the game better.
When Jose Bautista's throwing a bat to the moon on a sky ball, promote that.
Yeah.
You know, make the game fun. So anyway, like baseball's finally starting to figure it out, courtesy of John Morosi. And I think you're starting to see the trickle-down effect on the youth a little bit. Major League Baseball's cool again. And it kind of went through a little period there where it wasn't the coolest. Baseball is more popular in the U.S. than at any point in the last 16 years. Baseball's participation is at nearly 16.7 million in the United States, the highest official recorded level since SFIA's survey of more than 120 sports began in 2008.
16 years. Wow.
I think you're seeing the trickle-down effect of Major League Baseball being cool again.
But you know what they also had to do was they had to simply embrace social media because it's the way of the world now.
Oh yeah, kids don't watch TV; they're watching
exactly.
shit on their phones.
If you want to catch their attention,
yeah,
you catch their attention right there. It's not even just about the bat spike or the bat flip. It's just about putting the highlights up
Cristian
there.
Pache made a play in left field the other night that was just ridiculous. And I watched it a couple times and I was just like, damn, like this kid is almost as good as Rojas. And Rojas, but like that's out there now. People see it on Instagram, on Twitter. So, good for baseball. And I saw that
What took you so long?
I know, right? Like, get out of your own damn way and let the people have a good time online with your highlights. Like, geez, it's not that hard. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's get to our top second baseman of all time. But before we do that, I have to check my notes and tell you about, of course,
yes,
you know the jingle. Everybody does. Renee is our jingle person. So I'm not going to step on her toes and get into it, but I will tell you about Empire today. Empire, because fans everywhere, if you go to empiretoday.com/PHLY, you can get $350 off new floors. And if you've moved into a home or you're looking at a new home or just looking for some upgrades, you know that floors are kind of like the lifeblood of a house. They're so important. And with Empire Today, they got a lot of copycats out there because everybody wants to be the best. But Empire Today simply is the best because they bring you quick and professional installation, a price match guarantee, and they find you the right product for your needs. You don't want 1,200 different floor samples to choose from. You want the best brought to you where it's easy, concise, and easy to pick from. And with Empire Today, they bring you the virtual in-home experience where you can take a look at what the floors will look like in your own house. They are just the best. They keep shopping for floors simple with their special curated product selection. Their philosophy is just to help you find what you need and not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. What they give you is the best, stuff they would put in their own home. And their virtual floor design is awesome. Shopping for floors in a big box store is frustrating. Have them come right to your house. They pride themselves on convenient shop-at-home service. How can you shop for your own home floors in a big box store? Just do it right in your house, and you can look at the product right there in your house. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners or viewers can receive $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHLY. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHLY for details. Empire Today.
It's always a great jingle.
It is.
It's always
been with me my whole life.
Yeah.
I feel like they were always on Phillies games. Like, it's just, that jingle.
You're working and now you get to sing their jingle.
They can't, we got the message they were coming on board, I was like, dude, Empire Today. All right. I know that commercial. Love those guys.
Well, if you also want to be part of the family here, we got to let you know about our great diehard member. Got to become a diehard. We talk about the community and being a family and all of that here at PHLY, our entire network with all of us here from all the different shows. We're all tight. We're tight with you, too, and that's why you're here 11 o'clock in the morning to check out the PHLY Philly show with Jamie and Renee and Tyler every single day, John as well, and also to get a few extra things and to hang out. got to become a diehard member. Here are a few things simply that you can do to become a diehard, like hang out with Charlie and Bill and other PHLY diehards at the center this Thursday, March 14th, as the Flyers take on the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Eastern Conference Showdown. That's presented by our good people over my shoulder right here, Olipop. Takeover ticket includes a pregame meetup with PHLY's crew and game ticket in the assembly room to enjoy the game with other diehards. Check out all of our upcoming events at allphly.com. Under the events calendar, I think the PHLY Sixers have one coming up. The Phillies have one coming up as they are traveling right now to Florida, and they're leaving me. Follow our PHLY Phillies team for details on opening day at the end of the month. And you do that again as a member of the Diehard. If you wanted to find out about Matt Hennessy signing with the Birds here a little bit earlier today, and who breaks that story? Zach and Bo, right? You want to get that early? Diehard. Come on. You get premium written content from the members at allphly.com. From those guys, 20% off events, dope merchandise for all teams. You get a free t-shirt when you become a member, members only Discord and the PHLY Lounge. I'm now part of it, everybody.
Yeah, you are in Discord finally.
You only get one message a month.
Yeah.
You get one message a month from me.
We shame you into it.
You get one message a month from me, and there the weather is starting to get better, so that T-shirt is going to come in handy. You can still get the hoodies, though, because it gets a little chilly at night. So make sure you do that. Podcast live shows on every team every day. Post-game shows like we will have tonight when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. So get in there. Unlock 20% off all merchandise and events for the entirety of your time as a member. And these are just some of the perks, again, for being a PHLY diehard. Head over to allphly.com now and join the best sports fans in the city.
All right, before we do the second basement, a couple quick NFL news and notes. Zach and Bo are going to be doing Super Chat from our man Real Time Prince. What up? What does it say?
Yo,
I got to get my eyes in order.
Haven't seen a better duo since PB and J.
Throw Devon and I in an air fryer like an Uncrustable, and that's something sweeter than you right there.
Did you have that peanut butter and jelly burger? Remember when we had that, Tyler?
It's delicious.
Awesome. Yeah, I was telling Vince about
Lucky's.
it because our buddy told us about it.
It won the Burger Brawl like 3 or 4 years in a row.
And I was like, no.
And I used to live 2 blocks from Lucky's. There's one in
good.
Queen Village where I used to live, and there's one in Manayunk.
You got to explain it to Vince because I wasn't doing it justice.
So, like, I thought peanut butter and jelly burger, that sounds like kind of gross.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I lived like 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
My wife was away one day. This was pre-kids. I was like, I'm going to the bar, getting a PB&J burger and a beer. I had it, and I was kind of blown away. It
was good.
It shouldn't have been as good as it was.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
Yep.
So the PB&J burger.
So thanks, Real Time.
Thank you, Real Time.
Appreciate that.
Apparently,
the football moves.
The Texans signed Joe Mixon. Apparently, the Titans have emerged as the front runner to land Eagles defensive end Josh Sweat. Jameis Winston just signed a 1-year deal with the Cleveland Browns as a backup.
The Saints. He's going to drive them crazy in Cleveland.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is the all-time bag getter.
Yes, he is.
Kudos to him.
His agent.
Nothing but salute there. And that looks like the updates that have happened in the last 20 minutes.
Joe Mixon to the Texans is pretty good, man.
Yeah, they're going to be kind of loaded.
I mean, look, Dameon Pierce had a fantastic year last year, and he kind of fell off a little bit. Devin Singletary took over the reins, and he got injured a lot. I know Pierce did, but when you bring in Joe Mixon is Joe Mixon. The off-the-field stuff is unto itself.
Nobody's going to defend that.
Right, no. But as a player, that's a really good spot for a guy that's consistently out there, 1,000-yard seasons, can catch the ball out of the backfield, tough runner, all of that stuff. That's a really good pickup.
Yeah, and Devon and I will we're going to end the show talking about Saquon Barkley because I got to be honest, folks, it moved. All right, let's get to our top second baseman today.
Yeah.
All right, real quick.
Tyler, do you want to do the preface here on the 3-4 debate and your anonymous poll last night?
So actually, I have the poll.
Okay, because this was tough. This was a really tough one.
It was. Here was the anonymous poll. And it was just one of those.
Classic
here's their
player A,
here's
player
their
Bs.
player profile, same stats, accolades. Who are you taking? Player A or player B? Because we were trying to decide who number 3 is, because I think we're all pretty much in agreement 1 and 2 are pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of who is number 3. And this is what we came up with for number 3. So just based off of these numbers, I'm going to let you guys take a look at
Mariano Duncan.
and tell me.
How about that? That was my man.
Tell me which of these 2 players you would prefer without knowing. I mean, I know you guys know who they are, but statistically, who would you take?
I take statistically, I go player B.
Okay.
Statistically, I would probably err for player 1 because of the Gold Gloves and Silver Sluggers. But even though player B's production is slightly better.
Yeah.
So player B is the guy that we ended up not putting in our list. And player B is Dave Cash. Player A is the one that we decided as our number 3.
I take my vote back.
But it shocked me too, because I didn't look at the stats to confirm which was which, and I was like, I would go player A.
Yeah.
Now, when I was texting you guys, I said just based off the player comp analysis of their, because it was very similar times here in Philly. Each was like 3 years.
About 500 games apiece.
About 500 games apiece. It was Dave Cash offensively leads most categories. Manny Trio, player A in this situation. You know, the Gold Gloves and the Silver Sluggers probably put him ahead. But if you were to tell me, no, dude, I'm going to fight you, Dave Cash is number 3, I'd go, Devon, I don't want to fight you. I'm fine with Dave Cash number 3.
Yep, exactly.
So like it was kind of a coin flip for that third position.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I know Todd Zalecki had Dave Cash number 3 in his that he did a couple years ago. We're going to go with Manny Trio number 3. I think he wins the popular vote probably amongst Phillies fans. 4 years with the Phillies there, 502 games, 277 slash line, 321, 369. You know, good amount of doubles, 85 doubles, 160 RBIs in those 4 years, almost 200 runs scored, a little bit of stolen base, but a 2-time Gold Glove winner and a 2-time Silver Slugger for his position. I think that edged him out over Dave Cash there.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Manny Trio career WAR was 11.2. Kind of had his best years here in Philadelphia.
And look, I didn't see them to know.
Yeah, I'm just going off of baseball.
It's just going off
reference.
of history of
and
what you hear,
what people tell me about
exactly,
Manny.
So.
Manny was pretty beloved here.
Yes.
So he wins our number 3 spot on the all-time depth chart. Number 2. We're gonna go with the man. I was cheering for him in spring training when he was third base coach a bunch of years ago. When I was coming up, when you were coming up, you know, rooting on the Phillies. Juan Samuel.
Smooth, man.
He was the man.
Number 8.
Yeah, Juan Samuel. 7 years with the Phillies, 850 games, 263, 310, 439 slash lines. Really good stuff there. Almost 1,000 hits in his 7 years, 921, 100 home runs on the number.
7 years.
Yeah, 413 RBIs, bunch of stolen bases, 2-time All-Star, stolen base every year.
All right.
What does that say?
That's a jumbled mess. Two-time All-Star and the Silver Slugger in 87. Stole 35 or more bags every year he was with the Phillies and had 60 or more extra base hits every year from 84 to 87.
And a cool Jerry curl coming out of the back of the hat.
He did, with a stash.
With the stash, yeah. He was smooth, man. He was smooth.
A career WAR 17 player, career on base 315 guy, 260 hitter. Juan Samuel was just as steady as a baseball player as you can come. And I don't think there was any debate, Devon, about who the number 1 second baseman was.
There's no debate
of all time.
Because even if you try to think of it, it was like, all right, is he unanimously number 1? And you try to think of the history of the Phillies overall. And remember, folks, Bryson Stott is not there yet, so let's relax. But
2 more years of Bryson Stott like he did last year, and you're talking about him number 3 already.
Yeah, look at him.
You know what I mean?
Or at least number 4.
He's not that far away.
Yeah, you're not lying.
That far away.
So who's number 1?
So Chase Utley, the man, the legend.
He can move overseas and still be the man.
Juan Samuel, who's in second, has a career WAR of 17. Chase Utley, who's in the number 1 spot, has a career WAR of 64.5. It's not exactly close, the difference between first and second. I will give Tyler a second because he was deep diving the stats and just kind of in awe this morning. Can you flash that back up? So I'm sorry, Tyler.
Yeah, no worries.
But, you know, if you're unaware of the numbers, 13 years with the Phillies, man.
1,500 plus games. Yeah.
280, 366, 481, 233 homers. 346 doubles, almost 1,000 RBIs, almost 1,000 runs scored, 142 stolen bases on top of it. Pretty nice. 6-time All-Star, 4-time Tyler, why don't you take the
Silver
bottom line
Slugger.
again?
Four-time Silver Slugger,
Okay.
6-time All-Star, a 17.7 D-WAR over the course of his career. And last year, guys, he got almost 29% of the Hall of Fame votes.
Is he getting in?
Yes, I think 29% for a first year on the ballot is pretty exceptional in terms of trajectory to make it in. So I think Chase is going to make it in. My gut says Jimmy and Ryan aren't.
Yeah.
I think Chase is going to be the one. Second base, look, he doesn't have any gold gloves, but he was an exceptional defensive player. As Tyler will tell you, Brandon Phillips existed during the time of Chase Utley. So that's why he didn't win gold gloves. But Tyler, you deep dove the stats this morning, walked down memory lane. What did you find?
I will say that we talked about the gold gloves. I think the one year that he got robbed was 2008. He led all players in defensive runs saved that year with a 30, led all second basemen in range factor. And like, these are numbers that are computer generated a little bit. They're not just like fielding percentage or how many errors the guy had. And the one thing I don't want to use is, putouts and assists are not the greatest indicator of defensive numbers because it's hard to determine how the ball gets hit to you, right? It's a reactionary. Defense is reactionary, so if the ball doesn't get hit to you, you're not going to get a lot of putouts.
Sure.
But he did lead the league in putouts and assists multiple times. He and Brandon Phillips were the two standouts in the National League, and the one year that I think he probably did deserve to be a Gold Glove winner was 2008.
Yeah, I mean, he was the man.
World Series year.
Yeah, like a heart of the world champ team. So Chase Utley, no surprise to anyone.
At what point did you know it was like, okay, this guy is my guy? Was it the World Series run? Was it
when you
before
step
that?
up in your first game and hit a grand slam, like that gives you the little tingle. That might have been like the indicator. I didn't believe it then, but I went like, oh damn, first at bat, and you're hitting grand slam. Like okay, probably 2007
when they made the run. And
yeah, like 2000. Like what was his first year up? 2005 or 6. It didn't take long with him.
It didn't. You could see something.
Usually with Hall of Fame players, pretty early.
Yeah.
And I think when you saw Jimmy, Chase, and Ryan, like you kind of knew pretty quick with those three that you had something special.
And still, even though they won the series in 2008, my favorite run of his was 2009 against the Yankees in the World Series.
He was unbelievable.
It seemed like he hit everything.
It was unbelievable.
Everything.
All right, we got to get out of here because there is an Eagles special going on as free agency continues. But Devon, I'd be remiss if we didn't get out of here just talking about Saquon Barkley and smiling a little bit.
It's good times.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, and Tyler knows this, you know this. I've always been, I will pay a running back. If he's a talented running back and it's not too long in the tooth in terms of his NFL
He's only
career,
27.
I'm like, I'll pay a running back. The numbers are not that outrageous where I'm looking at paying a running back. And for him to get over $30 million, and of course he can hit, certain incentives and get much more. And then to see Josh Jacobs get 4 for 48 with the Green Bay Packers, that's a damn good deal. And even before any of the numbers, to hear Zach and Bo talk about it and to hear them talk about how realistic it really is that they could land Saquon Barkley and the feeling was mutual. There was mutual interest. And then to get him, it's like, all right, let's rock and roll. And I'm a Swift guy. I wanted Swift to come back, especially when they were saying the numbers might be too high for Saquon Barkley, might not reach that. And I'm happy DeAndre Swift got paid by the Chicago Bears. But, man, you get Saquon Barkley, that takes you to another level. And we know Jeffrey Lurie wants to score points. You're going to score some points.
Yeah, and, it's going to be really, really fun. So we're going to get out of here so that there's no interferences with our Eagles show. But Zach and Bo are breaking news today. They're going to be bringing you all the latest on the free agent front. So make sure you're diving into the PHLY Eagles show and getting the latest from them. Devon, you will be back tonight. Sixers postgame.
Knicks.
And I believe the Flyers also have a postgame, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So a lot coming to you today.
Maxie's back tonight.
Woo, thank God.
I know, man.
It was real rough watching that.
All
right, we're out of here.
Tonight.
Go check out the Eagles show. Love you guys. Mean it. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. And we will see you early tomorrow morning, 9:30, as we are departing for Clearwater.
We have a flight to catch.
Yes, we will be on bright and early tomorrow morning. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.